How's it going, folks? The Europa League and the Conference League semi-finalists are determined. Leave your predictions for the final pairs in the comments below. Also, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's get the show on the pitch. Juventus's 15 points deduction in Serie A has been revoked for now on appeal. They now move from 7th to 3rd place in the league with 59 points. Nusar Marzaoui is open to leaving Bayern Munich this summer if he doesn't get any more game time. Journalist Florian Plettenberg reports. Florentino Perez is planning to extend Carlo Ancelotti's contract if Real Madrid win the Champions League this season. Chelsea could offload either or both Eduard Mendy and Kepa Arrizabalaga in order to sign Dortmund goalkeeper Gregor Kobel this summer, Bild notifies. Napoli owner Aurelio De Laurentiis has set a 150 million euros price tag for Victor Osimhen. Am I convinced I'll be the PSG manager next season? That is my plan. I'm planning on being manager next season, AFP quoted Christoph Galtier. Borussia Mönchengladbach have announced that their defender Joe Scally has extended his contract at the club until 2027. Arsenal could sell 21-year-old striker Folarin Balogun to RB Leipzig in the summer to help fund a £100 million move for West Ham's Declan Rice, Metro reports. 35-year-old Athletic Bilbao defender Mikel Balenciaga has announced his retirement from professional football. The player had a 12-year spell together with the Baskis, making 321 appearances in total. Alexis Sanchez is looking for an improved contract to stay at Olympique Marseille should the club qualify for the Champions League, L'Equipe writes. Samuel Umtiti could end up in AS Roma, though Barcelona demand a complete transfer. The Frenchman is spending the ongoing season on loan at Lecce. We will strengthen the team so that we can compete for the Champions League again. We are missing the goal scorer who can clean things up. That's what we'll definitely need in the future. DPA reports the words of Bayern Munich's president Herbert Hainer. Villarreal have made themselves a priority to extend Samuel Chukwueze's contract. So far, the talks have not progressed as much as expected. Thus, the Yellow Submarine must step up its efforts to seal a new deal. Some of Chelsea's players will see their salary reduced by at least 30%, with the club set to miss out on the Champions League next season, the Daily Mail claims. Edin Dzeko has not scored in the last 20 appearances both for Inter Milan and Bosnia and Herzegovina. La Liga requires Barcelona to submit a final plan for the club's future economic viability by April 30th. Only after that, the Blaugranas will be able to work on Lionel Messi's return. Harry Kane can absolutely win a trophy at Spurs, but being a legend is also important. I hope one day that there is a statue of Harry Kane outside our stadium. Tottenham Hotspur president Daniel Levy is quoted as saying by Eurosport. Fiorentina have reached the Conference League semi-finals and will play at this stage of the European competition for the first time since the 2014-15 campaign. Bayern Munich CEO Oliver Kahn could be removed from his position, Christian Falk reports. West Ham United have identified Lille manager Paulo Fonseca as a potential replacement for David Moyes, who's likely to part company with the club at the end of the season. PSG are interested in Inter Milan midfielder Nicola Barella. The Italian will quit the team if the Nerazzurri fail to qualify for the next round of the Champions League, according to Corriere dello Sport. Real Madrid have been tracking Flamengo's 19-year-old attacking midfielder Matheus Franca. Napoli sporting director Cristiano Giuntoli is set to stay at Napoli despite interest from Juventus, La Gazzetta dello Sport informs. I'm thinking of a player whose arrival at Leipzig I was a little bit involved in, Christopher Nkunku. He decided to move to Chelsea far too early. Personally, this hurt my heart. If I were his advisor or his father, I would be very worried right now. At the moment, no matter who comes as a coach, you can't really recommend anyone to go there, Ralf Rangnick says. If Bayern decide to sell Ryan Gravenberch, Ajax will receive 7.5% of the profit from the future transfer of the Dutchman, Goal understands. Nicolas Otamendi is thinking about the next step in his career. The Argentine's agreement with Benfica expires in June. The defender wants to stay in Europe. Despite the difficult situation surrounding Christoph Galtier's persona, PSG have no concrete negotiations with other coaches, RMC Sport assures. Bayer Leverkusen have reached the Europa League semi-finals and extended Xabi Alonso's unbeaten streak to 12 matches. AC Milan midfielder Rade Krunic became a father for the first time. The Bosnian wrote about the birth of a child on his Instagram page. Manchester United are interested in signing Bayer Leverkusen right-back Jeremy Frimpong and are prepared to offload both Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Diogo Dalot. And now you're about to get the results of both the Europa League and the Conference League quarterfinal fixtures results displayed on your screens. And now we are moving on to the most interesting news of the release. First things first, let's take a look at yesterday's European tournament games. Roma slammed Feyenoord 4-1 in Europa League quarterfinals after losing the first leg with 0-1. Bayer literally thrashed Union Saint-Gilloise 4-1 and got 2-5 on aggregate. Surprisingly or not, Sevilla splashed Manchester United with 3-0 on a scoreboard. Blunders from Harry Maguire and David De Gea buried the Red Devils' chances in this pair. With 5-2 on aggregate, the representatives of La Liga have eventually advanced to the semis. Juventus had a 1-1 draw with Sporting, thus making a step to the next phase thanks to a 1-0 first-leg victory. As for the Conference League, AZ won the penalty shootout against Anderlecht. Fiorentina lost to Lech 1-3 but still went through. West Ham confidently dealt with Ghent 4-1, while Basel knocked out Nice 2-1. The total score is 3-4 in favor of the Swiss side. The head coach of Barcelona, Xavi Hernandez, has already informed the team's players about the upcoming transfer of Lionel Messi. The club is actively working on a summer signing of the Argentine, who seems to fail to agree on a new deal with Paris Saint-Germain. According to Sport, Blaugranas coach Xavi has already held a conversation with the players in which he dwelled on Messi's arrival in the summer. The source points out that goalkeeper Marc-Andre Stegen, who had not had the best relations with Lionel, happily welcomed the news, not to mention Ousmane Dembele and Robert Lewandowski delighted to hear them too. Moreover, the article from the Catalan newspaper notes that Xavi has reportedly made the most efforts to re-sign Messi. The official is sure that nothing will stand in the way of the deal between Leo and Barca. While having personal conversations with the footballer, Xavi constantly repeats, "You only have one thing left to do in football, live the club of your life well." Chelsea board continues to search for potential candidates for a head coach post and is now carefully studying the candidacy of Luciano Spalletti. The pensioners intend to establish contact and negotiate with the current Napoli manager. At the same time, former Bayern coach Julian Nagelsmann still remains the favorite for the Chelsea boss position. The Blues have also held talks with former Tottenham and PSG coach Mauricio Pochettino, who has been out of work for almost a year. PSG are hoping to bring back midfielder Xavi Simons. Le Parisien reports that the Red and Blues have priority to re-sign the Dutchman for 12 million euros. That clause was approved when Simons left the Parisians as a free agent last summer. Xavi now belongs to PSV and feels as happy as can be there. He is unlikely to agree to return to PSG, who never gave him a chance to shine in the first team. After 3 years of his spell at the French club, Simons played only one game at the professional level. However, PSG bosses and sporting advisor Luis Campos in particular highly appreciate the 19-year-old footballer's talent and hope to somehow reach an agreement. This season, Simons has netted 17 goals and delivered 10 assists in 42 appearances in all competitions for PSV. Folks, Real Madrid have decided to take revenge on Barcelona for Laporta's words by stealing one of the team's stars. Check out the new video on our football club project and find out the most interesting details about the Barcelona versus Real Madrid war. Thank you, have a nice Friday everyone, and see you in a bit.